What's good, Council of Comics? We're doing The Last of Us, episode number 3. Let's go.
Black is like the brightest day. Where are the heroes? As soon as they get here, everything will be alright. I need a hero. Someone superhuman who can come and save my life.
All right, take it away. What'd you think?
I liked it.
What a
I liked
great
it lot.
episode.
Yeah, it's just I thought this was some of the best TV I've seen in a long time.
It was great setting, great color, great characters, super great acting.
I'm kind of in green shirt guys boat.
I'll give you the acting was great. The storyline
was good.
I've seen
It
that
was good.
storyline 1,000 times over.
Yeah.
And don't take this the wrong way, Cliff. The only reason this episode gets any publicity is because it's a gay story. If it was a straight story, we would all be going, "Oh, I've seen this." That's the other than that, I have no problem with it being a gay story. It's just I've seen this story before, and the suicide thing at the end of it for me always takes me out of a story because, especially in this, I think it's a stronger story if he doesn't kill himself. And at the end of the day, I was right. Fuck the world.
Yeah,
and let someone in, and then I was still right at the end of it. I thought that would be a stronger story.
I
That's
thought. I didn't expect him to do it to himself too. You know?
I thought the murder fence, as you call it, was strong.
Murder Fence was amazing.
Murder Fence.
Also,
Murder Fence.
I am not 100% convinced that Bill is dead. I believe that they've left the door open, that it's like Bill could be like, oh, well, I tried to do it, but I woke up in a lot of
They never
pain.
went into the bedroom.
Right, we never went into the bedroom. We only saw the open window. That was it.
You know what? You make a good point because he was like, "How much did you put in there?" And he's like, "To kill a horse." Like,
Yeah.
Maybe he was acting a little bit to
Yeah.
make him think that it was gonna.
And maybe he believed it. Maybe he
Yeah.
really believed it. But
Yeah.
I don't want to share. I don't want to share my thoughts because I don't want to give anybody any ideas. But although that can be very damaging and can kill people, it is not the sort of thing that kills people often. It's a low percentage. Someone in bad shape like Frank, yes, definitely was going to work. I think there's a reasonable excuse for it to not work on Bill, for Bill to show up later more ratty, more angry, and for them to reuse the character. I also was explaining to our good friend Larry, what's up, Larry, that part of the reason that this episode played out the way it did is possibly because of budget. Their season 1 budget is much smaller, I'm sure, than what the road ahead has in store for them. And, you know, this is a much quieter episode. It's easier to throw a set together or reassemble other sets to be like, all right, here's a little town square that this guy takes over and we're going to run with this. You know, I feel like they used a lot with the Jakarta episode at the beginning, and then at the end with, you know, Tess dying, the fireball, the explosion, all these people they had to do makeup for running in and all that. I think a big piece of the purse was used for that, and I think we're going to see that as we get to the end of the season. So, choices on how to execute the episode. I think we got this quieter episode because, you know, it's better budget friendly. And by not showing us Bill, we get the door open that he could pop back up.
You can't. I think I agree with you on the quieter episode because you can't have power chords every week because you could become desensitized to it. So if you do one of these, next week's
I'm expecting
it's
big
going to be
stuff
something
next
crazy
week. Yeah.
next week because we were like, oh, okay, and then
But it has to have a reason, right?
correct.
Which is why.
No, what? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying. Which is why when you say he might not be dead, or it's a good chance he's not dead, I kind of believe that too. I feel like this might be leading up to something. We might be getting that character, that bitter character that's actually in the game. That's how it happens.
Right, because this will push him to be more better. And then he can be like, and I couldn't even finish myself off. And then he has this, and then he's got a twisted survivor's guilt.
So wait. What's the difference between the game and this?
Huge difference.
What's the difference? Give us
Yo,
the
you don't
difference.
even see Frank in the game.
Give us the difference.
I haven't gotten that far yet.
So he,
I
like
haven't
Frank
played the
kills
game.
himself in the game, so you find the dead
Right,
body.
you see the hung body. But there's a note where he's like, you know, like, and I always hated Bill.
Yeah.
The show.
Oh yeah. I think so. I think you will.
It's
So-
right after.
like the game. You play as Joel and Ellie, and you're going through pretty much the town, like Lincoln, Massachusetts. You're going through the town, and there's all of Bill's traps are set. So you got to kind of avoid all of his traps as you go through, and avoid the zombies, and you catch up with Bill, who is like this paranoid, crazy, schizophrenic guy.
Okay.
I like how there is that line in the show about like he's like, oh yeah, this paranoid schizophrenic. He's like, I'm not schizophrenic.
Yeah. Now, do
And-
we find out exactly what's Frank sick with, or are we just supposed to? It's old age.
I think no. He says there was no cure for this even before
Oh,
this.
okay. I
Right.
missed
So
that.
I'm assuming it's either MS or ALS.
I was
Okay.
thinking Emmett because he was in the wheelchair by then. And
Yeah. Well, I was
I
gonna
mean,
say
it
both.
could be anything.
Yeah.
though.
Like, yeah,
It
really
could be
could.
cancer. It could be anything. I think they left it open like that. Like so you
I
wouldn't-
missed that line. Though.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay,
No,
he's
because like
sick.
it's debilitating. He needs to. It's got to be muscular related. So I'm going with.
Cancer's very debilitating.
No, it is, but different
they
than
don't have
this.
Chemotherapy. They don't have none of
Right,
that
but he
stuff,
was still
you know what I mean?
painting almost up until the end. So like, no, this definitely motor skills and stuff. It would be more in line with MS or, I mean, ALS. I'm stretching because ALS really shuts you down, but it can shut you down slowly. So I'm voting for MS. And just got to the point where like, I want to end this now with a good day, before it's all bad days where you're just somebody trapped inside their own body.
Okay. So this whole episode is basically a flashback. Ellie and Joel go to the little gas station or the Cumberland,
Cumberland
Farms.
Farms,
Well,
yeah.
even before that, what about the first time?
Oh, that she sees the plane.
Well, there's that.
Oh,
but what
there's the
about
plane.
when we see Tess brokering this whole deal?
That's in the
beginning
middle.
That's in the middle.
Or you're right. Isn't it?
Yeah.
But even
All right,
still,
so-
that's
Yeah,
still
yeah,
even.
yeah.
By the way, okay, so there's something. Okay, good. Ellie and Tess all together. I'm gonna do it. In the beginning of the episode, Ellie is fascinated by everything. She actually sees a Mortal Kombat video game. She's like, "Oh my god, I had a
That's
friend that
right.
told me all about this. Oh, I only wish it worked."
That's pretty much in the game too. that
Right,
whole
that's
dialogue.
cool. The fact that how she reacts to the plane. She goes, "You actually flew on one of these things. It's amazing. You were in the sky." So like that.
I've never been outside before.
Right, she's basically never been outside. I mean, sure, she got bit, but like, she does not have a wide experience in the outside world. So her reaction to stuff is great. In the middle of the episode, when we get the flashback to Tess connecting with Bill and Frank, Tess is like, wow, just having a nice meal in this beautiful environment is amazing. And it's like, it's not even that long. I mean, it's long enough ago that she has felt the effects of this outbreak, but enough that she's just like, oh my god, like this place is like it's like a small paradise, And he's like, oh, you should come inside, and Bill's like,
What are you doing?
Yeah, Bill's been living his life alone pretty much.
yeah, and loving
Until
it.
Frank shows up. Like, but what Bill did was smart. So he waited in his basement, under his basement,
Yeah.
for the army to take everybody
super
out.
bunker.
And he basically took over the whole town.
Yeah.
Went to the power plant, got the gas on, got the
Cleared out
electric,
Home Depot.
got his big old generator. in
That
the
was the
back.
best part in Home Depot. When he's like, oh,
Yeah.
when the power up.
Yeah, and then he's like,
That
I'm
was
gonna go to the power station.
He's like, that didn't last very long.
Yeah, and he sets up like a town fortress basically.
Yes.
With the what do you call it? The fire gate or
No,
No,
We call it
murder gate.
murder
Murder
gate.
fence.
Murder
I call
fence.
it murder fence.
because as you say, like they have a thing, and Joel tells him, Raiders are gonna come.
At night.
They're gonna come. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. They're gonna come, and then they do come. Which I don't get. Like when they came, how Bill was already outside shooting, and he didn't wake up.
Because he's
Frank.
the paranoid one.
Yeah, but
And because he wants
you're
to,
gonna
and
need another
he
person.
no,
like-
but he wants to protect him, and that's the weakness, right? Because I was never afraid
I don't
until
even
you
know
showed
that he
up.
wants to protect them. I just think he has a. This is how if I'm going to go down, this is how I'm going to go down fantasy.
Look,
Yeah.
look, I know a lot of people like
Like,
Bill.
he's
Like,
shooting
I'm not
in the
gonna
middle of the
pretend like
street.
I don't know a lot of
He's
people
not
like Bill.
behind anything that can
Well,
help
because they
him.
got the fence, and they
Yeah,
got
but
they
bullets
got.
will go through fire and fence. I'm like, why are you standing in the middle of the street?
Well, listen.
What are you doing? Get
Let-
behind a tree.
Well, he
or a
was
log
he
or
was
something.
he was doing great. Unfortunately, it's Frank's arrival that makes him vulnerable, and he
He
ends up
should have
getting
woke
shot.
up Frank and said, "Hey, we got some people here."
I agree
Yeah,
that
yeah.
that would have been the wiser thing. I am
Yeah.
positive that Frank knows how to use a freaking gun, so like he should have. And
I thought he was gonna die. And I was like, oh snap!
Why are
did
you
they just kill
positive he
him?
knows how to use
But
it?
he
He
didn't
got
die.
shot. Yeah.
he
first of all,
didn't
did you
die.
see the way he grabbed that handgun? Like he knows that thing.
Yeah,
I know
yeah,
he knows how to
yeah,
use a
yeah.
gun.
Yeah.
You know, you don't just like hang around with a dude like that and just not learn how to use a gun when you're like sleeping
Yeah.
together and everything. So like,
So it ends up that he gets shot, but he's telling Frank, get Joel. Joel will help, and he fades.
Joel will take
and I'm
care
going
of
to
you.
Kamara. I was like, yo, did this kill this dude? But he didn't die.
it cuts,
It
jumps
cuts
ahead
to,
10
like,
more years.
Is it 10 more years?
From
Yeah.
that
Frank,
night,
yeah.
Frank is
yeah.
in the wheelchair, so he has the
He has
the
multiple
condition.
sclerosis or
He-
something.
He has
Yes.
the condition. And Frank basically makes the decision that today's going to be my last day. I want you to take me to the boutique. I want you to wear what I tell you to wear. I want you to take me here, this and that.
I want you to make me dinner. I want us to get married.
Yeah, we're going to get married, and then you're going to crush this stuff up. You're going to put in there, and I'm going to go to sleep. You're going to take me to bed, and I'm going to go to sleep. Which all plays out, and then with the little additive that Bill also supposedly put that same stuff in the bottle of wine. So they both go up to the bedroom, close the door. Then it fast forward to Joel and Ellie arriving at the place. Joel has the combo. He comes in, and they leave a note with a key for Joel. And they're like, don't come into the bedroom.
The window's open, not to stink up the
Not to
place.
stink up the place, but you can take whatever you want.
Right.
Blah, blah, blah.
I get the feeling that Frank wrote that letter. Not Bill.
Ellie steals.
No,
the
I feel
gun.
like
Ellie
I
ends
feel like
up-
Bill
Yeah,
wrote that letter
yeah,
because the
yeah,
whole
and
thing,
Ellie-
like, I hate you, but I respect you.
and
There
Ellie
is a
has
full-on
Frank's
respect
gun.
between those two.
Ellie
absolutely.
took Frank's gun, put it in her bag.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
Joel and then they fill up everything. They get all the supplies.
Think a
Blah,
shitty
blah.
S-
Joel
S10.
builds a battery, a car battery.
Yeah.
That was wild to me.
Well, he had everything he needed.
Yeah,
that
I was
was
like,
what you
we're
were-
just building car batteries now. Is that
That's
what
what
we're
you
doing?
He
Going
had
through that
he
level
had 30
before.
he had 30 years to figure it out.
I'm paying Firestone $130, $40. I
Yeah,
can
right.
build my own car battery.
You can. There's
Um,
there's actually an episode of Family Ties about it. So
Yeah.
That's
And,
that's what the game. That was like what you were trying to get to at the end of the level was the truck and the car, the battery for Joel and
Yeah.
Ellie to get out.
And so, as they're leaving, they put the tape in. It's
Linda Ronstadt, which is the song he played on the piano.
that they play in the beginning.
Well, I love how he's like, don't change it. No. This is a good song.
This is
Go
good
ahead.
stuff. This is good stuff.
by the way, my Ellie comment that started earlier, because we go from Ellie and like everything around her is new to Tess to like, oh my god, I can't believe you guys have this. Back to Ellie arriving there, and Ellie's like, oh my god, she can't believe that this is like a normal residence. Like there's stuff hanging up pristinely, that like everything is organized. There's like a perfect kitchen. You can take a shower. I mean, even when Frank arrived in the beginning of their story, 30 years earlier or whatever it is, like he's like, oh my god, I can take a shower. So like, and then Ellie yells at what's his name, tells him to take a shower. Joel to take a shower.
Yeah. Listen,
and
they
then when
both must have been wanting it.
Yeah.
Because how are you kissing this dude? You just met this dude. He had a gun pointed at you like an hour ago, and now you're just all in love and kiss. That part wasn't believable to me. But here we go. Cliff doesn't agree with my opinion.
No, your
about
opinion
it.
sucks, okay? They had their moment where the burning passion started building up right when he played the
stop
Linda
it.
Ronstadt
Stop
song.
it. We're in
I'm
a
so
post-
sorry.
we're in
I'm
an
so
apocalyptic-
sorry
we're
that
in an
you. I'm so
apocalyptic
sorry. Right,
place.
where life is running its course even faster in a post-apocalyptic society. Good Lord. I mean, I'm in my 40s now. Let me tell you, romance
No.
moves real quick.
Anyway, if I could finish my point before Cliff cuts you off and screams at you.
Because you're wrong.
I don't know because
Anyway.
my counterpoint to that is even he says to him, "Have you ever done this before?" So Bill's still do a little.
Yeah, like, come
like,
on.
Yeah,
I'll
Bill's
do-
like,
I
I've done
wanna
this
do
with a
it,
girl
but-
once.
You know what I mean? Like, so
You know.
even
But
he's
it's
like,
just my opinion. I want to finish my opinion. It's post-apocalyptic.
I know, but you also
Cliff,
said the same.
can I
You
finish
said
my
no, slow down.
opinion?
No, you said the same
No,
thing.
no,
the same thing
no, I
about
need to
John
finish my
Kent
opinion.
and freaking
Please
Gossamer. You
respect
said the
my
same
opinion.
thing. I don't know if I respect opinions, but go ahead.
Who the hell's Gossamer?
His boyfriend, Jay.
That's a fucking name.
That's his superhero
We're
name.
gonna have to work
Oh,
on
I
that.
see.
Because everybody's got to be able to speak their opinion without being overtalked. In my opinion, it was too soon. It's an apocalyptic world. He's already defending from raiders. He's doing all that. This guy that you don't know from anywhere.
yeah.
You don't know who the hell this guy is. You bring him into your home. You feed him, and now you're going to take a shower, leaving him there alone.
Right.
You
When you-
do not know what this
when
guy
you
is
haven't
going to
believed
do.
anybody to this point.
Well,
This
I
is
would argue that Bill is like this. He's like, have a good one, Paul.
Yeah, Paul.
Bill has this one track mind, right? He has this one track mind. He's set this whole thing up, but he's still a lonely guy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
his defenses
Which
are
I
gonna
understand. Yeah.
yeah. So his defenses are gonna go down. On top of that, where he hasn't had a homosexual experience yet ever. So that there's even more to it than that. So I just think there's a lot more layers than just like his guard needed to be up the whole time. I understand it. The whole time I was thinking like this motherfucker's gonna kill him. Like he's gonna tell him to go into the shower.
Yeah,
And then
that's
he's
what
gonna
I mean.
invite his friends over.
Right,
And, they're gonna raid
and
the
that's
place.
that's what I
But
thought.
that didn't happen.
And that's what you and maybe that's why they did it like this is because that's what you probably are supposed to think.
I'll
Yeah.
tell you what I learned. Beaujolais pairs perfectly with rabbit.
I can't believe you remember the
Beaujolais.
name of that fucking thing.
True or not true, Clint?
True.
True.
Mateo served me a Beaujolais with rabbit, but I can't deal with rabbit. It's too gamey for
Rabbit's too
me.
gamey.
So, overall ratings for the episode? Phil?
10 out of 10. I think it was a really good episode. It was it's a solid love story. And it's an apocalyptic love story that, we might have seen that before, but I don't know if, Rick and Michonne did it as well as Frank and Bill did it. So, it's I can't really think of anyone, by the end of the episode, I was kind of, feeling damn, this was pretty deep and heavy.
Mm-hmm. Cliff?
10 out of 10.
Joey?
It was terrifically acted. I wasn't expecting it. I wasn't expecting them to go to that direction with the character after playing the game. 8.
Okay.
8. It was a really good episode. It was a really good episode, and it's pretty memorable.
I also give it an 8.
That's
I would-
Anthony off screen.
I
There's
would give
Anthony
it a 10
off
out of
screen.
10 if it wasn't for the fact that they keep killing these characters before we can get more invested. With them.
Yeah,
Okay.
It was a really good standalone episode.
really good
Yeah.
standalone episode.
And it fit right into the series. I
Mhm.
mean, Joel and Elle and Ellie and everybody else is prominently featured, and it's still their episode, but
Mhm.
yet these
Yeah.
guys kind of hijack
Yeah.
the show for a minute, and it's you. To me, it's if they didn't kill what's her name, Tess.
Test.
Tess. If they didn't kill Tess so early, she should still be alive, right? Because now all we're ever gonna get is maybe a flashback with that actress.
Mhm.
Whereas
Which we got in this.
Which
we
we
got.
got-
We
we got a
saying, but
flashback.
if she were still alive, you still
Yeah.
have this connection, and you would see more connections, so you would feel more connected to her. And the same thing with Bill and Fred, right? If they were still alive, at least for another episode or two, if they killed one of them, you'd be really, really upset. So I think you're upset anyway, right? That's my
Listen, as soon as Nick Offerman was
Devastating.
crying, I was crying.
right?
Mhm.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god! And the makeup to make them look even older was so good.
So perfect.
Yeah, that was
right?
creepy how good it was.
Same thing too, though, with what's her name, with Tess again, right? I was watching with somebody else; they didn't recognize the actress,
Right, because she was aged down to her real age.
right?
Yeah.
Well, she just didn't have the she didn't have an eye jammy. She
Yeah.
she wasn't have a cut in her face, So it's
Right, her skin was still
And
smooth.
she's
like-
greatness, but she's way different than the game. So I've been playing the game. In the game, she pulls no punches. That's what
Tess?
she's
Tess
much,
in the game
she's
is a
much
completely different
softer in the show.
Yep.
You can tell in the show she has her walls and barriers. In the game,
Wait, even
She
old school
shoots
Tess,
people-
who was knocking down barrels and blowing up zombies.
in the game,
That's pretty
the
tough.
first interaction you have with her as you follow her because you're meeting up with a guy who beat her up. She says about 2 words to him, and boom, boom, and walks away.
Yeah, she's cold
She
blooded.
doesn't
She's
care.
very
She's-
yeah.
All
Yeah.
mission driven.
I wish they explored that a little bit, but this
I-
test is good.
I was listening to the podcast about they wanted to do more about Tessa's background, but they decided they just didn't have the time for it. Tessa's origin story is the day of the outbreak. Her husband and her son are infected, and she has to kill her husband, but she cannot bring herself to kill her son. So she kicks him into the basement and locks him in the basement, and that's it. And for all we know, her son is still just
Walking around the
a clicker in her basement, you know? And so like with that background story that the creator had in mind, this Tess carries that with her. And so like in Ellie, she sees this chance for redemption, you know, for herself.
which is what Joel
Right.
ultimately sees, right? That's
Which-
the other thing too. At the end, it's like,
Well, Joel is like, you know, you're supposed to be the hope, right? And Tess essentially was dying. It's like she's the hope. And also, like, if you notice, like, there's so many walls up between Joel and Tess in the little bit of time that we have to get to know their situation, right? They never say I love you to each other, right? And even when she's dying, you could tell there's unsaid stuff there, and she just doesn't go for it. She's just like, you know, listen to me and do what I say, and I never ask you to do what I say, and just do this.
Yep.
You know? So like you could tell. But anyhow, so far this show has deeply been about relationships, family love, intimate love, weird love, all of that. In 3 episodes, we've got that covered.
All right. So that's episode 3. What do you guys think? Leave in the comments. We're already at like 21 minutes.
What was your score?
What did you give your score?
7.5, 8.
Yeah, I'm giving it about an 8. I thought it was good. I thought it was good. We'll be back next week for episode 4 of The Last of Us. What do you think of this episode? Leave a comment below. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe right now. Please like the video. We're trying, get all of us as ourselves to like the video. We're trying to build a like culture so we can get this crackling. But thank you for watching. For myself, for Anthony, Green Shirt Guy, Joey, Cliff, and Phil, and the rest of the Council of Comments, we love you. Thank you for watching. See you later. Peace.